Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest, Chapter 93. When we last left our heroes, Fairy Tale returned to Magia Dragon to kind of check in with Elefseria, maybe get some hints for the last two dragon gods. And while they did, instead of actually getting those hints, they found out that A, Elefseria has been tracking their progress through that mural that we, the audience, have seen multiple times, and B, Diabolos originally formed as a result of Elefseria originally giving the 100 Years Quest contract to George. He eventually canceled that contract, and we have a bit of a discussion of inter-guild treaties, how technically Diabolos shouldn't be going after the dragons because of the contract being annulled, and so Fairy Tale, Team Natsu, Urza in particular, threatens to fight them if they come after them again. Ellis Area is like, there's a treaty against that, but like we're well past that point now. Anyway, at that point, Ellis Area's little crow friend Hikage comes flying in, reporting that Diabolos, specifically the 4 Dark Dragon Slayer Knights, are at this place called the Great Labyrinth. We see the 4 Dragon Slayer Knights. There's Kirin, who's got this coffin sort of Undertaker vibe. Haku, who's this little like tiger girl. Misaki, who's got this kind of naval vibe, and then, of course, Suzaku. But anyway, at the Great Labyrinth, there is the 6th of the 5 dragon gods. Don't know why there's a 6th one now, but there's apparently a 6th one now. So yeah, with all that being said, let's dive right on into Chapter 93. Our picture here is a really kind of nice pic of Team Natsu. We see Natsu sort of, ready to go, the fire kind of around him, happy above him. I love Lucy kind of peeking out over Natsu's shoulder. Gray and Urza standing there. Wendy kind of squatting under Natsu with Carla. It's a cute pic. It's fun. Anyway, celebrating the decision for an anime adaptation. That might be why we had that kind of basic Team Natsu pic. Chapter 93, the 6th of the 5 dragon gods. Getting right to the problem of last chapter. Team Natsu reacts to what Elefseria just told them. A 6th dragon? And Urza reacts, what are you saying? A 6th dragon? And Gray agrees, they're the 5 dragon gods. Yet there's a 6th? Wendy also, I don't understand. Natsu, however, seems to have this under control. It's easy, Wendy. 5 plus 1 is 6. I retract that statement. And Lucy tells him, Natsu, that's not what we're saying at all. We see Happy kind of shivering. So the 5 god dragons are actually 6? And Carla is just very, very displeased with all this. Shouldn't they be the 6 dragon gods then? And we see Elefseria can't really respond. He's just, so I think in shock that Diabolos is after this guy. That he's kind of frozen. Hikage responds, Elefseria-sama? But we see Elefseria doesn't really say much of anything to Hikage. He just starts to transform. This cannot stand. I must go to the Great Labyrinth at once. And he's back in his dragon form. Natsu calls to him, hold on! And Elefseria stops and looks back at him. Take us with you. And Urza kind of agrees. Diabolos may also be involved in this, wouldn't they? And Gray chimes in that case, don't you need help from us? And Elefseria looks at them, and I guess agrees to take them on. As the group now flies towards the Great Labyrinth, as Elefseria kind of exposits to them, the 5 dragon gods were originally 6. Indeed, the 6 dragon gods. But then one of them died, and thus they became the 5 dragon gods. I guess that makes enough sense. I can see Diabolos going for this tomb so they can, eat the 6th dragon god and gain its powers as dragon eaters. So maybe it's more like Elefseria. Well, but there are still questions then. Because there's the mural of the 5 dragon gods. There are only 5 there, and the 6th one isn't there. And I don't know why Elefseria, my initial reaction was maybe Elefseria is protecting the memory of number 6. But I don't know why he would, given his stated intention of sealing them. Maybe he just doesn't want Diabolos to get that power, but even so, he already kind of admitted that he's fine with Diabolos being the one to get rid of the dragons. So I don't know. Anyway, Happy reacts, "It died?" And Carla presses him, "Didn't you say it was sleeping?" And Elefseria responds, "By which I meant its remains." And Gray asks, So this Great Labyrinth is the sixth dragon's tomb or something?" And Urza asks, "Is there some kind of problem with the tomb being invaded?" But Lucy, with more manners than Urza, that usually is a problem, you know. But also, again, they're dragon eaters. They can eat that dragon and get its powers. But Elefseria goes on, "The sixth dragon god, Dogramag." That's certainly an interesting name. You could say he was the weakest of the six dragon gods, but he was only weak compared to the other five. Compared to the number of dragons, he was still a powerful threat. 100 years ago, I successfully defeated Dogramag. Okay, so maybe Elefseria himself built the mural. He beat Dogramag, couldn't beat the others, and so he made the mural to like check on them or something. And maybe this is finally going to be tied in with that opening flashback from the very first chapter. Wendy asks, "You actually defeated him, Elefseria-san?" And Natsu responds, "That's incredible, old guy. However, in exchange for that, he devoured my heart." Okay. Gray reacts, "Your heart?" And Lucy as well. "But that's..." And Natsu doesn't quite realize what he said. "That's incredible, old guy." Before it slowly dawns on him and he snaps, "Don't people die from that? Wait, how are you even alive?" And Elefseria just thinks, or responds, "It was a side effect of dragonization. If a human uses dragon slayer magic, their body becomes that of a dragon in the end. Once that happens, it transforms not just one's outward appearance, but their organs as well." Okay, so it's tying in with more of what we've already known about dragons. But with this diagram, we see the original Elefseria, he has organs. And then his like hybrid form, they're sort of separating the organs. And in his full dragon form, they're not there. It's just like a void or something. Gray reacts, "Don't tell me you grew another heart. That's just gross." "No, not quite. My body became one that needs no heart." Which would fit that diagram of there being no organs in the dragon form. Maybe dragons never had organs. Anyway, Natsu just sort of is stunned. "That's incredible, old guy. He's back to being into this." But Lucy stops him. "No, it's not. It's weird. I've read about this before. The heart is what circulates blood throughout the body. Without it, a creature can't survive." So there's an interesting bit that I'm almost certainly focusing too heavy on, is that if someone were in real life to talk about the heart circulating blood throughout the body, they wouldn't say, "I've read about this before." It's just kind of one of those things everybody knows. So maybe that's a little bit of like very subtle world building, setting up the idea that medical science and anatomy is really not that advanced. It's interesting and it might be completely accidental, but it's something to think about. Not really to think about the implications of, but it's something to acknowledge, I'll say. Without it, a creature can't survive. But Elefseria goes on, "Strictly speaking, an organ was created to replace my heart. It was thanks to this that I survived so long." Okay, so that's... Because the diagram on page 8 implied that there were no organs. But I guess he still had some kind of organs, just sort of a counter heart or an alternate heart or something? I don't know. Gray is amazed. "Dragons' bodies are incredible." Wendy also, "It's so mysterious, isn't it?" But Lucy is not big on that. I'm still not satisfied with that. Anyway, Elefseria goes on. "However, the real terror of Dogramag came after he died." And Urza kind of looks at him confused. "From his corpse, magic power overflowed and took root within the land. It produced a massive underground labyrinth. Such is the Great Labyrinth of Dogra." Okay. Alright, so what is he, some kind of maze dragon? Is that a thing? Happy is sort of stunned. "His corpse made a labyrinth?" Carla, "That can't be." But Elefseria goes on, "I'm sure that was his true power. Even in death, he continues to radiate with power worthy of the name of Dragon God. The labyrinth has been scoured by many an adventurer and wizard. Over 1,000 have entered, but only a few ever returned. According to the reports, the Great Labyrinth is complex and continues to extend year after year. Okay. It was 100 years ago that the Labyrinths Entrance was sealed because it was so dangerous. But hold on. So Dogramag died 100 years ago. It's been reported through the ages that the labyrinth has continued to expand, but also has been sealed for 100 years? I feel like I'm missing something there. I don't know. Anyway, Lucy reacts, hold on, does that mean the Great Labyrinth is still extending right now? And Ellis Area responds, I do not know, but I do know that its source, Dogramag, is dead. We had no choice but to seal the entrance. And Lucy kind of whispers, kind of like mutters, a little nervous, say, you don't think his body regenerated over the last 100 years, do you? And Ellis Area responds, I do not know that either. Even after his death, I don't know why he made that labyrinth. And Urza asks, so what's the problem with Diabolos going there? They want to consume the dragon and gain his power. Yeah, again, that's what they do. They eat dragons. And Urza's just kind of stunned. They're going to eat a dead dragon? But Natsu, were they trying to eat them alive? Lucy reacts, though, I don't think that's the problem. But Wendy sort of thinks, of course, from 100 years ago, but he may just be bones by now. And Happy has this image of Team Scullion eating bones. It's a good little bit. But Ellis Area goes on, there are many things I don't know about the Earth Dragon God's power. Okay, so there's this element, Earth. However, it's clear that it's a power that goes on after death. I shudder to imagine this power in the hands of humans. But the thing that terrifies me the most is my own heart. Oh, hold on. Because Selene wants to be rid of Elefseria, right? And so, if Dogramag destroyed or ate Elefseria's heart, it might still be in the tomb with Dogramag, right? Which means Selene and or Diabolos in general could get it and utilize it? Eat it? I don't know. Natsu asks, didn't it get eaten? And Elefseria responds, it remains inside the labyrinth. And Gray's stunned, what? Dogramag could not digest it. Perhaps it was covered with some kind of spell. What do you mean perhaps? It's your own damn heart, dude. Or perhaps regenerated from the power of Dogramag's labyrinth. But I can feel it. The beating of my old heart. But Lucy's just sort of stunned. But there's no such thing as that. Is there? And Elefseria goes on, naturally I'd be lying if I said I had no attachment to a part of my body. If it no longer exists, then so be it. However, if by any chance my heart does still exist, then the power of the Law Dragon will extend to Diabolos. Are we finally going to find out what exactly a Law Dragon is? Carla asks, Law Dragon? It is the element of my Dragon Slayer magic. If Natsu is flame, and Wendy is sky, then I am law. It is the power of knowledge to obtain all information in the magic world. Amazing. And Urza asks, would that be the same power as the former council chairman? Oh, fuck that guy! From fucking Tartaros. That scumbag from Ishgar? He didn't come anywhere close to my power. Alright, let's call that fucker out. Yeah, fuck that guy. But even he could acquire information on Face. If one uses the power of my heart, they would uncover the negative legacy of the magic world alongside Aetherion and Face. Okay, another power, another awful weapon. As Urza reacts, there's another government weapon besides Aetherion and Face? It was originally a weapon for the self-defense of persecuted wizards. Oh, I feel like Elefseria made it. Given what we saw in Chapter 1, of his sort of, I will create a guild to protect wizards. I think it's his own creation that he's so scared of. What kind of weapon is it? Lucy asks. I cannot tell you. It is the negative legacy I spoke of. Something that humans of this era should not know. And Urza accepts that. Very well. Understood. And Lucy chimes in, at any rate, Diabolos getting their hands on your heart would be bad. Gray agrees. It's about time we settle the score with them. And Natsu grins. You can count on us. I'm all fired up. And Ellis Area just kind of smiles at them. And Hikage reports, everyone, we're now approaching the Great Labyrinth. And finally it's time for the plot. So that's the Great Labyrinth. But Urza calls out, wait, there's someone there. And we see from the smoke Gajeel and Laxus, specifically the Dragon Slayers. I don't think there's a coincidence that they're both the Dragon Slayer, the other Dragon Slayers of Fairy Tail. I wonder if we're going to see Cobra Sing and Rogue anytime soon. Anyway, Gajeel and Laxus seem to have just warped there all of a sudden. I don't know how. Maybe Selene had some kind of teleportation. Yeah, because she used Aqua Era to escape her fight with Suzaku. Maybe she used Aqua Era to bring them here? I don't know. You guys, and a dragon? Elefseria asks, acquaintances of yours? And Urza tells him they're members of our... They're members of our guild. And Elefseria takes them in. Descent. They're dragon slayers? And the group lands. Team Natsu rushes at Gajeel and Laxus. What are you two doing here? And Gajeel turns that on them. Why are you here? And Laxus looks around. We got here before we even noticed. What's going on here? Wendy asks. Laxus tells her, your guess is as good as mine. Urza presses, does this mean you were blown away by something? And Gajeel just raves, who the hell did this? I'm going to string him up and skewer him. And then Elefseria feels something. Lucy and Wendy see it as well. And we see Selene atop the Great Labyrinth. There she is, back in all her glory. Elefseria is stunned. Selene, the Moon Dragon God? The intruders weren't Diabolos? Oh, if only you knew, man. Natsu reacts, Selene? And Selene stares down at them all. And first turns to Elefseria. It's been a while, Elefseria. You're starting to settle into the appearance of a dragon. And Elefseria asks, why are you here? This is the tomb of my good friend Dogramag. Now, the preparations are complete. And as Selene is wont to do, the sky turns dark behind her. The full moon rises, leaving her in silhouette. Not Happy and Hikage react. The sky! It suddenly got dark out! And Selene takes in the group. Ladies and gentlemen of Fairy Tail, let the game begin. To be continued next time. Okay, so the first 3/4 of this chapter are just a lot of exposition. It's exposition that we kind of needed, and it's all relatively interesting. But not a lot physically happened. There's a lot of filling in the gaps. What's the deal with Dogramag? Why is it a big deal if Diabolos gets some dead old dragon? And the deal is not even really Dogramag. The Dogramag's powers are weird and unknowable at the moment, given the nature of the labyrinth. But the real danger is getting the heart of the Law Dragon, which would give them access to all knowledge, all information in the magic world, including some horrible weapon that I bet good money that Elefseria is responsible for, which is why he's so not wanting it to be revealed, wants to cover up that awful chapter of his past. It's all interesting. It's all going to set up this next part of the arc. Selene definitely wants it for something. Maybe for her goal of getting rid of the dragons so that she can reign supreme. Maybe. But then we make it to the labyrinth and Gajeel and Laxus are here. And again, there is no way it's a coincidence that the two other Dragon Slayers of Fairy Tail have arrived. Maybe whatever probably Selene did to bring them here doesn't extend as far as Ishgar, so it can't really pick up Sting, Rogue, and Cobra. But at the very least, we have Gajeel, Laxus, and Lily. And honestly, I have always felt Lily was just sort of underserved. He was a really fun character at Ellis, and I always wished we got more of him. And I'm always happy for the chance for Lily to actually play a relevant role in things. We'll see if he does, or if he just kind of stays a borderline background character. But yeah, before we can really figure out how the hell Gajeel and Laxus got here, it's time for Selene to arrive. Not quite revealing that she's the head of Diabolos now, but very much revealing that she's the one in charge right now. And she has some kind of game. Given that this is a fairy tale that's very much a battle shonen, I imagine the game is going to be Fairy Tail versus Diabolos for their final confrontation, maybe. I don't know. Oh, sorry. I accidentally kicked a chair. Anyway, where was I? But yeah, all in all, it's some important exposition leading to a pretty fun cliffhanger of the surprise reveal of Gajeel and Laxus, and Selene is back, and she has some kind of trap set for Fairy Tail. Again, probably just another fighting setup, but you know what? I really love Fairy Tail fights. I'm not shy about that fact. So I'm excited to see how all of this plays out. So I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe. You know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!